I'm 69 and I've had depression and anxiety since I was 23. And things were building up, and I had a little breakdown, and I checked myself into a hospital. And I didn't stay long because I checked myself out. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. And then my husband was a
Yeah.
police officer. So they had a psychologist on board that was for families too. So, of course, I went there and he had me go to a psychiatrist, and I found out that I had depression. But then over the years, I don't remember if he left or I had to change to another psychiatrist. And then it was okay, my GP was writing the prescriptions and he said, "Oh, I can write you this." And I didn't realize that was all he could write. And then when I was, I think, maybe 3 years ago, I was having my family doctor just write the prescription. And he said, "I think you need to see a psychiatrist." And I said, "You know what? I think so too." And so he referred me to the one in our system. And that was one of the best things I ever did. Finally, somebody finally told me, "You have treatment resistant depression." I didn't know there was such a thing. But I think if you've been on 3 or more antidepressants, and I was on, I think 5, I don't remember. The psychologist that I was seeing way back, like 40 years ago, and he's the one that actually told me about Joyous. He knows more about me than I know about me, and you need some sort of backup. So he started telling me, he said he's got some patients that they're on this. And I said, "Well, can you write the name down?" And he did, Joyous, and that was it. This ketamine just pushed me to over the edge, where I was stuck. It was it's just amazing. I don't know how to describe it. And I have a schizophrenic brother, and he takes his meds, but sometimes he doesn't. And he is, a little afraid of him. And so I had so much stress. And then, we're all good. My family, we've been married 44 years. I have one son that's, well, I'm 69, so he's 39. And he lives in Japan and has a Japanese wife and have 3 grandkids. And they came for Christmas. Yeah, we can fix this and do this and do this. And it was, I had an amazing time. But in the meantime, my husband in November, he kind of wasn't feeling good. And I said, "Well, what is it?" And then I said, "I'm taking you to the emergency room because you don't look good. Something is wrong." And I took him, and he was in the hospital 8 days, and he has one working kidney. Turns out he has prostate cancer, but the cancer has gone out of the prostate and into the bones. There's no cure. But I'm not sitting here worrying about it because I used to be very independent, and I can be that way again. But, of course, I'm sad, and I tell him I love him all the time. But I don't cry as much over things. Because there's like this, I'll take him to his chemo, and he signed up for a trial. We're going to hit it like this, and whatever happens, happens. I have to tell you, the very first time I took the ketamine, it was like the lowest dose. And I was sitting there in the recliner, and my hands were on the chair, like, sitting on the side of the chair. My husband came through, and I go, "Will you put my hands down?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Will you put my hands down?" And I was talking kind of slow. "Your hands are down." I said, "No, they're, you know, they were up like this, but I couldn't move them up there. But to me, they were up there. They were just hanging in the air." And then the next day when I took it, it wasn't there. I was like fine from then on. I don't have headaches. I don't have nausea. Nothing. You got to remember, I'm 69. I'm from the old school, and back then, all that meditation and stuff, that was all hippie stuff. And I was a cowgirl, so yeah. And I have my intentional thoughts that I think of that give me the most pleasure in my whole life. And that was, I've had 2 horses, one when I was a teenager, and then one when I was maybe 45, I got another one. And that's the most pleasure that I could have, besides my husband. Yeah, and so I like to think about that, and I think about how good my son is, and just how much I love him. And it's not, I don't know if you call that meditation, but that's what does it for me. Slow down from doing stuff and just do this. And now the hard part is, I've had back issues for a long time, not this week, but the next week, I'm going in and having a lumbar part. They go in and radio frequency your nerves so that pain is gone. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But I deal with that, and I'm just calmer. You know, I'm not a crazy person, but sometimes I would get aggravated at people driving. Get off the phone. But I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. And that is the ketamine. It gave me that bump up. And it took a while to get there, but you know, Laura Bush, I kept telling her, I said, it's just not it. And after 69, I'll say 30 to 69 is 39 years. Okay. And I know my body, I know my mind. And, you know, some people say, oh, well, I do. I do. And that's what makes me so aware of things. And, you know, yeah, that's why, you know, I was telling her the truth and everything. And it's just, and then when she bumped me up this, and it's like, okay, for a few days, it's like this. I think this is going to do it. Just the way it happened is my psychologist was saying that he's got patients on this, and it is just the tip, you know, the thing that makes it go up like this. So I tried it, and yes, it's true, and I'm going to stay on it for as long as I can. Well, Steve certainly has, my husband, but my family comes at Christmas every year. And sometimes I go over there. Before I started taking this, I would always just, you know, I didn't want to drag anybody down. So I would just fake it that I was good and try to be excited. And yeah, no, yeah, okay. It was weird. It was very hard to do. And yeah, this time I asked the boys 11, the girls 9 and 6. And last time they wanted to make pizza, so we made pizza. And this year we had all this cookie stuff, and I got them a gingerbread house, and some things they didn't want to do. And it was like, okay, fine, let's put that away, and it's no big deal. I didn't get my feelings hurt. It's just amazing. So if anybody's on the fence about this, you just the monthly fee that it is, I'm like, is that worth my life? I think so. Well, when I first heard ketamine, I was like, oh, no, 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 because I was thinking a while back, and it was like it was bad. It was like a drug or something. But that's not what this is. I guess it's the low dose, and it just, I wish I had a recording of how I used to be. Gosh, I've realized now, well, my psychologist, I'm 69, my brother is 66. He lives in a place that, you know, it's disabled or seniors, and they take a third of his social security check, and so he can get along fine. He said, if your brother got kicked out of his apartment today, what would you do? And I go, nothing. I don't nothing, because he can't come live with me to keep my family intact and everything. So he said, then you need to prepare for that, because you have to quit running over there. And one time he didn't tell me that his psychiatrist was retiring, and the psychiatrist knew that I took care of him, so to speak. And the psychiatrist didn't call me. And so Ted went off his medicine. It was bad. And anyway, after that, every day I'd drive over to his apartment, and I would just sit in the parking lot. Don't know what I was doing, just sitting in the parking lot. I don't know, but I don't do that now, and I wouldn't do it again, because all it does is hurt me. I'm just really, really aware of myself. And well, I was on an antidepressant, and then he changed me to another one that I'd never been on. And that was like, it took a little bit, but it's like, whoa, where has this been? You know, and then that was the anxiety. The anxiety was just, you know, and they don't want to prescribe too much, which I understand. But this, I, I do not have anxiety. I mean, I don't. If somebody, I don't know, somebody came to the door and say, oh, we're having a public meeting out here, and we need you to talk about, you know, something to Woodlands, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, sure. Okay. I'd go out there and I'd stand up. And what do I have to lose? I can stand up and talk in front of a camera or anything, because I'm just me, and I'm doing what I want to do to help people. Just give it a try. And when you fill out the form, whatever, I think there was a form or something, be honest, 100% honest. And because I thought, well, you might not take me because I'm such a depressed person, but even on medication. Yeah. And I'm on some strong stuff, but it wasn't enough. And that's when my psychologist said, start this and it will take you to where you need to be. And that's exactly what it's done. And I don't know how that's exactly what it's done. I don't know how I can get it across.
Yeah.
But, give it a try and talk to people like Laura and keep your appointments and, fill out your thing every day. And yeah. And so every day looks like it's fake or something, but it's like every day it's good day, energy, like that. Yeah. And sometimes my sleep isn't so good, but I put it on there, but the next day it's right back up. Well, I don't look at it like a routine. I look at it like I'm opening this up so they can see how I did yesterday. And that's very important for y'all to know that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I look at it different, but I really wanted to help myself. And I have, and I will continue to help myself. I broke the cycle of abuse. I did. Because we were married 7 years before. I mean, I thought I wanted kids, but I couldn't. I wasn't going to raise a kid like that. But I did. And he's a fine young man. Didn't whip his kids or anything. And, I still see people talk about like, well, they need what my, good SWATs and this and this. I said, no, those SWATs. And then it goes to the belt and all this. And it's not good. It's just not good. All they need is hugs and, forget anything about the horses, anything, just that is the number one thing that I am the most proudest of in my whole life. Because that's another little human being that's going to, be raised to be like me? No, I don't want that. I want him to be normal and like the life he has. And because I let him grow up and thrive. Then in like ninth grade, he started taking Japanese and then followed it through in high school. And, he got scholarships to go in the summer to Japan. But whatever he wanted, I'd follow, I'd support him.